Hey, this is Walter Jones, also known as the original Black Ranger from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Hey, welcome to Codenamed Epic.
Games, comics, anime. Codenamed Epic.
So, I originated the character of Zack, the Black Ranger, whose specialty was hip-hop keto, a dance style of my own, and I donned the power of the Mastodon from my power. He's my Megazord, which is pretty cool. After I had the Rangers, I've done a number of other jobs. Everything, I was on a couple of different series. I was on a series called Space Cases.
On Nickelodeon?
On Nickelodeon, yeah, absolutely.
I saw you on...
the character Harlan Band. Harlan Band.
It was like,
kind
of like Star Trek Voyager?
Absolutely. It was kind of like a Star Trek for kids. And I was Captain Kirk. Yeah, love that. So, that was pretty cool. I left that show and went on to do a show with Aaron Spelling, the late Aaron Spelling, called Malibu Shores. And one of the coolest things about that job is I got to hang out at Aaron Spelling's house all the time. I used to go over there to the mansion and hang out with Randy and Tori and swim in the pool and bowl in the bowling alley downstairs and play with the pinball machines that Mr. Spelling had of the various shows he'd done, which was pretty exciting. Then I went on from there to do a number of guest star shows and recurrings on different shows like Moesha and Off-Center Comedy, The Shield, which was a hour-long drama show on FX. Actually, when I was working on the show, the lead actor, he won a...
Michael Chiklis.
Michael Chiklis, yes. He won a Golden Globe while I was working with him, and that was really exciting to work on that show. Most recently, I've been working on a few other projects. I have an episode that I guest starred on coming on December 1st called Prime Suspect. So you guys look out for me on that. And I have an episode of Pair of Kings, which is a Disney show that's coming out as well. And I just finished, I have a couple of films coming out. One called Speed Demons, which is a vampire film, and I am a vampire hunter. So that's pretty cool. I'm kind of like my own version of Blade.
Yeah.
And another film is kind of a dark noir type film. It's called Man Without a Head with Taryn Manning. So I've been busy doing a lot of different things, including voiceover work. Everything from looping. I've looped on, I don't know, maybe 50 different films and different TV shows. Everything from Everybody Hates Chris to Secret Lives of American Teenagers to I just did Criminal Minds the other day, and a few films that are coming out or that have just recently come out. Moneyball, Brad Pitt. I'm doing a film next week. I forget the name of it. Anyway, so that's kind of an introduction of who I am and what I've been doing, and I'm pretty much an actor. That's my profession. I also sing and I dance. I have a degree in musical theater, so I've done stage, singing, dancing. I don't do that so much anymore, but I do enjoy it. So at this point, I'd like to see if anybody has any questions. I'll be more than happy to answer. Questions, anybody? Yes.
What were the challenges of working on a non-union with Power Rangers?
The challenges of working on a non-union show, specifically the Power Rangers. Working on a non-union show, the difference is when you are on a SAG show, Screen Actors Guild is the name of the union. It's a professional union for professional actors. And there are rules that the company has to abide by, including payment and dressing rooms and breaks and so forth and so on. When you're working on a non-union show, you have none of those rules that apply. So basically, the producer of the show can make you do pretty much whatever they want you to do. And you don't really have as many rights as an actor, or you don't get the pay scale that an actor is accustomed to. One of the things about being an actor is jobs are few and far between. because it's a very competitive industry. Only 15% of all actors, all professional actors that are actors in the SAG, Screen Actors Guild, make a living. That's not are famous and rich, that's make a living. So it's a very difficult industry to be involved with. 3% are the wealthy people like Tom Cruise and Will Smith and the guys that are baller, big baller. I'm trying to get there one day. But the problem with one of the issues with being on a non-union show is you work late hours, long hours. Sometimes we were working anywhere from a 10 to 12-hour, 14-hour day. We would shoot 4 episodes every 2 weeks, and our dressing rooms were okay, but when we were out on set, when we were out on location, we didn't always have nice trailers to stay comfortable and cool in. Sometimes we were doing it where we were jumping out of the van and shooting and jump back in the van and running. All right, we're gonna get this shot down here in Santa Monica. We don't have a permit. Jump out, run, and do it, and get back in the van. It's kind of crazy, right? And you would not expect that from a company that was making $1 billion off of a show that was doing really well. But that is what it is, and that was part of the process. Next question. Yes.
What was it like being a Power Ranger?
What was it like being a Power Ranger? Okay. You know what? It's like if you've ever been popular for anything. And I don't know if there's ever anything you did in your life that made you popular, or be it like softball, you were the pitcher and you got a good game, or if you were in a musical and you were the lead actor, or if you were just the tallest guy in your group of friends and you get all the girls, or whatever. If you've ever had an experience of being popular for any reason, Power Rangers is like that on steroids. So it's pretty much anywhere I go, and that includes internationally. I've been to Dominican Republic, I've been to Africa, I've been to Mexico, I've been to lots of different places. And since Power Rangers was in 40 countries around the world, I can go to pretty much any of those places and people will recognize me as that character, which is interesting because now here it is 18 years later, right? And I'm still relevant to people in regard to that. I've done a lot of stuff. I've been in over 150 different episodics of television. I've done about 8 films, but nothing has ever come close to as big and as popular as Power Rangers was. So I feel that popularity pretty much most places that I go. Somebody in the room is gonna go, yo, dude, oh, you were my childhood, right? Or oh man, wait, I know you from somewhere. Did we go to school together? And then when the people know who I am, I think because the character that I portrayed was such a positive role model and a positive person, and somebody that people in general liked, they almost automatically like me. So that's what it feels like. I feel popular. I feel liked. I feel welcomed, and that's nice. I like it. Yes, sir.
What was your experience like for the first time you were found in public?
The first time, I was in Santa Monica, walking down in Santa Monica on the strip and on the beach there, and come on in, have a seat. Oh, okay, never mind. I was walking down the street and somebody walked up to me and was like, dude, you're the guy from Power Rangers. And the show had not even aired yet. It hadn't even aired yet. I was like, yeah, how do you know that? They're like, I got the toy. And my face so the toy had already sold out. It was already sold out in the stores and people couldn't find the toys in, but they already had the doll, and on the box is my face. So very bizarre that I was like, you have my toy? I'm like, that's okay. What does it look like? I don't even know. I'm like, the show hadn't aired. I just done the pilot, and I mean that was a signal right there that the show definitely had some legs and might do very well. So. That was the first experience. Yes?
Was being a Power Ranger very, physically tasking?
Was being a Power Ranger physically tasking? Yes, it was. It was, we would do a lot of fighting in every episode. There's fight scene, and usually we don't fight as the face characters, the face actors. We wouldn't fight like the big monsters. We would sometimes in the costumes we often had stuntmen that would do the job, or they used original footage from the Japanese show. So not always were we do voiceover. So not always were we in the costume. We were sometimes, but not very often did we do big stunts in those costumes. But as characters, we had our fights. We fought putties, we dealt with the bullies, we dealt with, occasionally we would fight a miniature-sized monster like Godard. Not really miniature, but he was not, 10 stories high.
Not yet.
So, not yet, right. Not until she said, "Make my monster grow!" Right. So, when we would do those fight scenes, often we would know a day in advance, or we would know that that was coming up, in the schedule. We get the schedule, but very often we would start early in the morning. So imagine yourself early in the morning, walking out into a field of grass next to a pond, and your stunt coordinator's going, "Okay, so we got to do this fight scene. Okay, we got these putties surrounding you. What do you want to do?" And I would go, "Okay, I'm going to have this putty come on me. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'll throw a kick here, and I'll do a flip there." And the grass is still dewy. It's still wet. So we're practicing in the wet grass, and you're slipping and falling sometimes, and everything else. And then it was like, okay, by the time we finally got around to shooting it, we do it, and sometimes you fall. Sometimes it didn't work out well, it didn't look right. So, in getting the take and doing television, keep in mind there's different shots they get. So there's insert shots with a specific thing, a punch to the chest, so they just get that, the connection of the punch. Then there's the master, so they get everything that's happening all in one big shot. So that's one time you got to do it. Sometimes you do that 3 times until you get it right, because not everybody is going to get it right the first time. Maybe all my stuff was great, but Trini's stuff was off. She failed. Or all my stuff and Trini's stuff is great, but then Jason forgot what he's supposed to do and got kicked in the head. You never know, right? So you got that. So you do that 3-4 times. And then we got to do coverage. So then there's just footage of Zach and Trini next to each other. So what I'm saying is there's all these different shots that we'd have to do, and you'd end up spending 2.5, 3 hours doing all of this in the cold, wet grass. And then you take a break, because they had to change the shot, they got to change everything up, and your body that's been warmed up and sweating because you've been working gets cold. And then you got to do it all over again, right? And now you're cold, you got to warm up again, you're trying to amp up and get the same energy, and that can be pretty taxing on your body. I mean, we're all pretty young, but there were pulled muscles and achy backs and so forth and so on. Sometimes you get kicked, or you get hit, or sometimes you make a mistake. So in that sense, it could be taxing from time to time, but for the most part, I loved it. It was challenging for me, and even the times where I was sore, I was happily sore. Next question. Yes. Sorry? Do I ever watch any of my own episodes? I do, occasionally. Okay. When the show first came out, I wanted to see every episode that came out. I wanted to see, what I was giving off on camera, what the character looked like, what I did, how good was the fight scene. I was excited about it. But as an actor, there's something in me that I don't really analyze what I do on camera. I generally watch most of the stuff that I've done one time, or unless I have to edit together a videotape or something, because as an actor, I want to be as natural as possible on camera, and watching myself, you find that you want to imitate certain things, and then you're not being natural anymore. Now you're being something else to create this image, and you're not in the moment. And I'm a trained actor, so I'm not about just indicating, which is, okay, so now you're happy. And I'm like, hey, I'm happy. Look, I'm happy, all right? I'd rather, the way my process is, I take the circumstances of the scene and I create happiness in me naturally. So I wanted to come across as real. So to answer your question, I do watch my stuff, but not very often. I don't study it. I don't go over it and over again. I mean, and then there's times where you're showing people, and you're like, oh, want to see my episode? All right. You turn it on, and I will often watch it with somebody, or I'll go get drinks while they're watching it, or something. So I guess I watch my stuff sometimes, but not consistently. Next question. Hi, how are you?
How are you?
I'm good, good.
That was my question.
Okay.
Have you ever played a Power Rangers drinking game?
Have I ever played a Power Rangers drinking game? I can't say that I have. What does that look like? What is the Power Ranger drinking game like?
Let's make up. I mean, there's a variety of options. There are a variety of variations of the Power Rangers. I'm just wondering.
Is it like a trivia kind of thing? You answer a question, if you get it wrong, you have to drink?
A main character abruptly shouts another main character's name during combat. Take a shot.
Okay.
Focus, dumb. Take a shot.
Oh, so watching the episode.
Yeah, while you're
I
doing
see.
it. Pardon me.
You know, I've never done that, but that sounds like a good party.
You have to do the night after 10 because we will get it going.
Yeah, I'm sure. That sounds really interesting. I don't know if you guys could all hear him, but he was saying that the game consists of watching an episode, and then if Bulk says something stupid, you take a drink, or if another Power Ranger shouts somebody else's name during a fight, you take 2 drinks, or that kind of thing. It's yeah, I'm sure you can make up your own rules. You know, like double drinks if Rita yells. Okay, something. Who knows?
Found.
Yeah.
Yeah, found 3 already on Google.
Oh, he's found 3 different versions on Google. Love that.
And the movie version.
Next question. Oh, I like it. Okay. Yes, sir, in front.
Who chose the colors of the Power Rangers?
Who chose the colors of the Power Rangers? The colors were established in the Japanese footage. Okay, so the Japanese footage came to America, and they said, Saban said, "Hey, I'm going to take this Japanese footage and I'm going to make an American version of the show. I just got to hire some American actors to put with the footage, right?" Okay, so their idea was, we want the Red Ranger to be the leader. So it's television, it's media. Who's going to be the leader? Not the black guy. That's just what it is. That's, at least at that time, it was 92, we're talking about 92, 93. But who's going to be the best friend to the white guy? The black guy. So, in the Japanese footage, the Red Ranger and the Black Ranger were friends. They were like always next to each other. So there's like the lead and the second lead and so forth and so on. So the footage was chosen by the Japanese footage. But a lot of people ask the question, you know, because I was the Black Ranger and I was a black man. And I'm still a black man, all right, okay. Anyway, a lot of people wonder if that was prejudice. Was it stereotypical, maybe? Maybe. But prejudice, I wouldn't say so. I mean, even on TMZ, they were like, yeah, it was prejudice, whatever. But the reality is, I was a superhero. I'm like, you know, how could it be prejudice if I was this positive role model? Even if I was in a black costume, I was still a hero to the world. So I can't really make that a bad thing. It can't be a negative. I wouldn't associate a negative to it. But it was a little interesting that the Black Ranger was black and the Yellow Ranger, who was Asian, was yellow. And you know, it's like, it's coincidental. They never did that again. But in the beginning, it was a little interesting. And I have to say, maybe at that time, some of the minds behind it were not as educated, maybe, in regards to some things. I remember there was one episode where I actually got really indignant about something because we had this, we're having a food fair. Okay, so everybody's gonna have a food to represent their nationality, right? Okay, so you think, okay, the Black Ranger, Zach, what is he gonna have as food? What is he gonna have? And there's, you know, there's soul food, right? There's all kinds of soul food. There's like, you know, black eyed peas, and there's Fried chicken, yeah, okay, I like fried chicken. There's pork chops, there's all kinds of different foods that are common to, there's ribs, you know, there's like barbecue ribs, there's all kinds of things that are common, and what they picked out for me was bananas. And I was highly insulted. But that was the responsibility. That was the art director who did that. It was nobody else. It wasn't the higher upper echelon. It was the art director. But when I went out on the set and I saw that they had bananas to represent my heritage, I said, I'm not gonna be doing that scene until you change my proof, because that won't represent me properly. So they went out and they got some black eyed peas. Black eyed peas. I was like, yeah, that's better. Okay. So that's just an example of maybe not as people that were not as conscious. In the original pilot, they had my character come in skateboarding, which was kind of cool, right? But my dialogue was a continuous rant of what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up. It was like, yo, what's up, 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 what's up. And I was like, that's not really reality. Like, I would come in and shake hands with somebody. I might say what's up to a couple of people, but I'm not gonna, obviously it's a comedy, it was for the joke, but we changed that in the script. Chose not to do that. Next question. You, sir.
Just on that note, you said you were able to change that and you changed the food. Were you given like that much freedom to make Zach more like you, or to make Zach the kind of Zach you would wanted him to be?
Was I given the freedom to change Zach's character to be more like what I chose him to be? As an actor, you generally do get some license, because in the creative process, what happens is the actor, you come in and you audition for the role, right? You audition, and every person is an individual with individual quirks and personality, and I got hired because they liked what I brought to the character. So as an actor, I have a bit more say-so, and then the director comes in, and the director kind of puts it all together, takes all the personalities and puts them together and makes them be in different circumstances along with the writer and the script. So there were some times where I would go, my character wouldn't do that. If Bulk was standing right here and he was about to hit Trini, I wouldn't just stand here behind Trini and just watch it happen. I would jump in front of her, because that's who I would. That's what Zach would do. And so I definitely had input into what my character would do in certain circumstances and situations. And dating Angela, of like, I was this shy guy, and and so if they were like, you're gonna do this, I would be like, I would probably do it this way. As I would, bring to the character what I know I would do as that character. I mean, most actors are portraying themselves under imaginary circumstances. And then there's some actors that are a character or a caricature, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, so they're the same in every movie they do. And that is just a character that they portray, but it's not who they are. So it's just very, very styles of acting. But yeah, I had a lot more say. Yes, sir.
Post Power Rangers, what is your most memorable thing you've worked on?
Post Power Rangers, what is my most memorable job that I've worked on? Wow. First thing that comes to mind is The Shield. I really enjoy working on that show. It was a pretty intense drama, and my character was, he was grimy. There's something fun about playing a bad guy, okay? Because you get to do things that you just wouldn't do, and you get to think ways that you just wouldn't think. I was this gun-wielding drug guy who was an informant to the main cop, who was this bad cop who's, he's notorious himself. And I had fun being a villain. I really did. It was fun. And I found lots of moments to be completely not like who I am, So I would probably say The Shield, and I had a nice little arc. I had a storyline that went from one place to the next place. And I loved Space Cases too, Space Cases was like, I was Captain Kirk. You know, like I was on Space Cases. It was like seven. It was a school of like five aliens, and I was the only human. Everybody else was the alien. So you know, and I was the leader, but I was a kid who would like leap before he looked. So I had a lot of fun on that series, and to be able to every week go into a different. To have a different adventure as that character was a lot of fun. Next question. Yes. Sorry? Are you serious? She said Nickelodeon started airing Space Cases again. Really? On Friday, yeah, there's no new episodes. On Fridays, they're re-airing it? Nice. That is awesome. I love that. I love that show. So I've always hoped that they would bring it out on a disc set or something, because I actually have I have people I love to show that to. So, I mean, I have copies. I just never pulled them out. Next question. Yes.
Hi. Are you familiar with Shotaro Ishinomori?
Sorry. Say that again.
Shotaro Ishinomori.
Is that the original from
Yes,
Japan?
yes.
I've seen some of it, but I can't. I wouldn't be able to tell you the name, like you just said. I was like, I wouldn't be able to.
He passed away, I think almost 5 or 6 years ago.
Okay.
And there is a museum in Tohoku. It's where the tsunami and earthquake hit.
Yes.
And we are supporting to build the museum now.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. And so that picture is he's a television personality. Is that
He's an artist.
the actual actor?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's wild looking.
Yeah. You too, right?
I love the hair.
Yeah, that's a Go Ranger.
Go Ranger, yes.
Yeah, that's
and that's ZYU or Go? You pronounce it Go Ranger.
Go means 5.
5. Okay.
Yeah, Go Ranger.
How do you spell that?
Just a G-O.
Geo, just Go
Yeah,
Ranger.
Go
Okay.
Ranger.
Because I know there's Go Ranger, there's Zoo Ranger, there's what are the other forms of Rangers? There's
Super Sentai.
Silver Sentai. Yes. I mean, there's so much.
Yeah, that's one.
I love that. I love being part of something that's so big, you know, and to have come into it after it had already been successful for 10 years in Japan, and then create a different version of it. You know, it's pretty cool. I'm actually talking to somebody about maybe doing. It's another project. Maybe doing something else that's a little more adult with that concept. So we'll see. Next question. Yes.
Since you're the original Black Ranger,
Yes.
how did you like when Johnny Young Bosch, the next generation, came in?
Since I was the original Black Ranger, how did I like it when Johnny Young Bosch came in
Yeah.
and kind of took my place? How do I feel about that? It was odd. I'll say it was odd. There was no dislike of any of the guys that came in to replace us when we left. It was unfortunate that it worked out that way, because I would have loved to continue on with the character Zach and the role of the Black Ranger and go on to do the film and so forth and so on. It's just after doing it for 2 seasons, 2.5 seasons or so, to continue on as a non-union show after it just feeling very unappreciated, it was time to move on. So obviously they had to do something, and I had no malice against the actors. They're just actors. They were looking for a job like I was. So and I've met Johnny Young Bosch and Nakia Reese and Karen and Steve and all those guys, and they're all really cool. I like them a lot. There was no malice against them. They had big shoes to fill, and I think they did a pretty good job. Next question. Yes?
How cool is it being you?
How cool is it being me? Ah, man. I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out myself. We'll see. No, you know what? I am blessed. I think I've had a really, if I died tomorrow, I would be happy about what I've achieved in my life. And Rangers is a big part of that because it's pretty awesome to be a superhero. It's pretty awesome to be, to have made a difference in so many people's lives in such a simple way for me. I mean, doing what I love to do, you know. The fact that I've had opportunities to just shake hands with a kid and make his day. And the oddest thing about kids is like when you meet a kid, let's say, you know, 7, 8-year-old kid, and he's a big fan of Power Rangers, they freak out. They're weird. They're like, they don't want to look at you. I had a kid in Vegas see me, and his mother was like, oh, look, there's the Black Ranger. He was like this, where's he at? And I'm standing right here. So this is the kid, and this is me. And the kid's like, where's he at? I don't see him. I'm like, hey, I'm right here. Hey, what's up, man? It's Zach. He was like, I don't see him. Where's he at? And he's like, he won't even look at me. He's like, where? I don't see him.
Too young to remember you.
Yeah, he was kind of freaking out. So that happened a lot of times with kids. They would cry, or they get really quiet, or they hide behind their parents. But then as soon as I walked away, they'd be so happy. They'd be like, start kicking and dancing and doing all kinds of stuff. And that's just so cool. And there was other times where I was around kids that were not so happy. I went to a hospital through the Make-A-Wish Foundation, dealing with terminally ill kids, and some of those kids, you know, like there was a kid that said this kid hasn't smiled in a month because she was terminally ill with cancer and just really sick with the medication. Her stomach was bothering her all the time and just in a lot of pain. And we peeked through the window and walked in the room, and she lit up with this smile that was beautiful. And they were like, this is the first time she smiled in a month. And it was like, to be able to do that, and I didn't even say anything. It was just like, she just saw our faces, it was like, and you know, to have the power to do something like that for anybody, you know, is beautiful. So it's pretty cool being me. Any other questions? Yes?
Have you ever dressed up for any of the conventions you participated in?
Have I ever dressed up for any conventions that I participated in? No, I have not. I'm not a big dress-up guy. I don't know, even Halloween, I kind of suck on my costumes. I was just talking to a girl here earlier today who makes costumes, and I was like, what would be a good costume for me? Because I'm indecisive. I don't know what I want to be. I'm like, who I'm going to be? I don't know. So I always end up picking a costume at the last minute, and it's not very cool. I think one time I was Pepper. Yeah. I did one time I was, one time I was a Black Eyed Pea. I just wore, I had a black eye, and I wore a white t-shirt with a P on it. It took people a minute to get it. They're like, what are you? I'm like, I'm a Black Eyed Pea. Yeah, so, no, I haven't done much dressing up. Although I think it'd be fun. I think it's awesome. I'd love to see you guys dressed up and doing your thing. I mean, how much fun is that? Like to just fantasize and go out and be somebody different for the day. And some people were really into it. I love that. I love that. So, are there any more questions? Okay, how about you?
What was your favorite episode that you were in?
My favorite episode that I was in of Power Rangers?
Yes. The birthday episode?
The birthday episode was definitely fun. I think I really enjoyed the episode where I got to kiss Angela. I thought she was really fun. I was like, that girl was fun. Ooh, okay. I enjoyed the food fight episode because that was, who doesn't love to have like an all-out food fight? And that day, when we filmed all day, it was like, okay, the food fight was the very last thing we were going to shoot because they knew everything would be a mess. Costumes were going to be a mess, camera equipment, the whole room was just going to be demolished. And so it's the end of the day, and it's time for the food fight, and it was all out. Not only we did the scene, and we're throwing food at each other, we're just taking all kinds of stuff, just give everybody, right? And catching it on camera. But then after they said cut, we went after all of the camera operators and everybody else. Like, nobody was fair game. We took everybody down. Like, oh, fire! Just like going after everybody, and it was so fun. I mean, to just, one of the really cool things about acting is you find yourself in places doing things that you would never, ever do. On the Shield, when I was working on the Shield, my final day on the Shield, I'm dead in an alley, 6 gunshots to my chest, which was kind of a sad day. But I'm laying in an alley. I'm like in this grungy, nasty alley somewhere in, I don't know, this ugly, nasty part of LA, and I am laying smack dab in the alley, just chilling. The people are all walking around me, and I'm like, I would never, ever be here. Ever. I would never lay down right here in this alley. But right now, I'm doing it, and I'm cool, and I'm getting paid. So, all right, there we go, you know. But it's interesting, just perspective. I mean, when you look through your eyes at the world in different places, you see different things. So if you lay down on the floor in here, you look up at the ceiling, you're like, that is a cool ceiling. Look at that, I never noticed that. Mirrors up there, it's just different perspective, you know what I'm saying? So laying down in the alley in the middle of the ghetto somewhere is a whole different perspective, and that's part of the adventure I love about acting. Yes?
What was your favorite production working?
My favorite production to work with?
Yeah. Or in.
Question, good question. Let me think. I would probably say, I would probably say Moesha, the Brandy show. Just because that was such a family, they've been together for so long, and everybody was very welcoming, and it was very professional. It was so laid back. Brandy singing, her brother Ray J singing. We were rappers on the show. It was just, I was at home. It was like I was on the set and just chilling, and like, here we go, let's shoot. And everybody was just really laid back and fun, and a production, they paid me well. I don't like that part. And, so that maybe Moesha, I would say. I've had a lot of great working experiences, but Moesha definitely was fun. I actually did a film, one of the worst ones. I did a film in Romania, and I almost got killed. It was crazy. Romania is a third world country, and it's recently it was a communist country for a long time. So I'm there, and I like to go out and see places. I like to be in the middle of everything. I want to experience wherever I go. I live off of the experiences. So I'm in Romania, and I want to see Romania. I want to get out and get among the people and hang out and whatever. So I decide I want to go to this bar, and I have a liaison. He's taking me around. Me and one of my co-stars, and he's like, well, look, if they try to sell you cocaine or guns in the club, don't worry, that's just what they do here. And I was like, they sell guns in the club? He's like, yeah. But it's kind of a mafia-run place. It's third world and communist. And I'm like, okay, all right, let's go. Let's go for it. So we go to this club, and we're hanging out, and it was a little odd. I don't think they were very accustomed to seeing too many brothers over there. And we get in the club, and we're hanging out, and ask a couple of girls to dance, and they all tell me no. I'm a little depressed about that. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna sit down and have a drink, so I have a beer or something. And my co-star, this guy, is on the dance floor dancing, and his name is Jason Adelman, and I look at him, and he's got a red dot on his chest, and I'm like, somebody's messing with him, and I look down, and I get his attention, I'm like, look, and he sees it, and he starts freaking out. He's like, oh my God, we gotta get out of here, dude, we gotta get out of here. And I'm like, nah, man, somebody's just messing with you. They got a little laser, and they're just, messing with you, whatever. And our liaison says hello to this guy that's sitting maybe a couple tables away from me, and they start speaking in Romanian, and next thing you know, they're arguing. And the guy comes over, he's like, we gotta go. I'm like, oh really? Okay, let's go then, it was just a very odd thing, and that was like the beginning of a very weird adventure in Romania. I had another experience where I went to another place, and some guy was just tripping. He looked at me right away and just started going off, and I was like, I tried to get away from him, and next thing you know, I was trying to leave, and I needed a taxi cab, and the guy volunteered, hey, you need a cab driver? And I'm like, yeah. So I'm walking out with him, and there's 3 guys standing outside, and we're in Romania, so everybody speaks Romanian. And I'm walking outside, and one of the 3 guys turns around and sees me, and sees the guy I'm walking with, and he starts talking to the guy in Romanian. And next thing you know, they're arguing. Like, what is going on? Everybody's arguing in this place, right? So one of the 3 guys looks at me and goes, hey, you need a ride home? You need a taxi cab driver? And I was like, oh, well, I got this guy, he volunteered. He said, don't go with him. He's with those guys. And I was like, I looked at the guy and he went, like, oh, who are you gonna believe? And I was like, I'm going with him. So I ended up going with that guy, one of the 3 guys. He was the cab driver, took me back to my place, got back safely, but what would have happened if I would have got in that taxi cab with that guy? The guy that was with the other guy inside that was going off, I would have had the morph. Jordan, get me out of here. It's morphin' time. Is this thing working? Oh my God, yeah. But anyway, interesting. So that was one of the worst productions I worked on because it was cold and it was shot in like a mock castle that had no heat in it. I had to take off my shirt and be, like have my chest all out and then have my heart ripped out. It was a horror movie called The Talisman I did. And I don't want to go there again. Yes.
It was cold in Romania?
Cold. It was colder than I did meet somebody there on the set who was a guy very interesting because you realize, when you're in a different country how good you have it here. There was a kid there that was working as an extra on the set, and he was a really nice guy named Vlad Dulia. Actually became a really good friend of mine. And every day I would go to set, I see him, he'd be like, hey, Walter, and he was making like $60 a day. But for him, that was like a month's check. So he was like the time I went back and he was like, I saw him like a couple of days later, and he was like, hey, you like my jeans? I was like, yeah, that was cool. He was like, this is the first pair of jeans I bought in like 5 years. Because he never had the money. He got to pay all his bills. He got to pay, whatever. And he's living with his mom and his girlfriend and his mom's boyfriend in a small 1-bedroom studio. And it's a communist country. And he didn't, it was like, wow. And I ended up hanging out with him and his girlfriend for the rest of the trip. He introduced me to all his friends. We went to saw museums. He took me to see Vlad Dracula's castle, and I got to really see Romania, understand the history, and I wasn't afraid of it anymore. I met some really cool people, and it was a great experience. So that's all I have to say about that. Next question.
We can only take one more question.
I can only take one more question. Round.
What was it like coming back to Power Rangers Forever Red as a villain?
I did, coming back to Power Rangers on Forever Red as a villain, it was cool. It was cool coming back as a villain and doing a voice. I wish I could have been a Red Ranger. I was like, man, I want to be one of them, but again, because I'm union, doing a voice is a little easier to get around, not, walking across the union, and then being on camera is kind of hard hiding from that. I got credit as a voice, but I don't think SAG was as angry, or AFTRA, actually, AFTRA was probably in charge of that. I don't think they would be as angry about me coming back and reprising a role as a villain and doing voices, and I like that anyway. I got all kinds of voices in my head. I have dark voices. I got all kinds of things that I can do with my voice, and it was a time. It was an opportunity to be on Rangers as something completely different than what I was. So that was fun. I think we're done. And we don't have any more questions. Hey, I'd like to thank you guys for coming out for my panel. I hope you enjoyed the meetings. I think this is probably the most I've ever talked at one of these things. And so I'm going to be out. I love the Thundercat patch, by the way. I'm going to be out signing autographs. Do you know where I'm going to be signing autographs at, sir? Pardon me. Oh, where am I going to be signing autographs? Do you know?
I believe it's Newport A.
Newport A.
It's upstairs.
It'll be second floor. I can actually take you there.
Sorry, where?
If you go straight upstairs.
The same place where we're at? Take a photo. I'm selling 8x10s, and so come on down to meet me, and nice to meet you guys too. All right? Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day.
This is Kay with PMX Express on our Celebrity Spotlight with Mr. Walter Emmanuel Jones.
I like the way she said my name. Do it again, do it again.
Walter Emmanuel Jones at PMX. All right. Well, what can you tell us about being here, and why are you here?
Okay, we're here at PMX. We're here at this anime convention, and man, there are so many people here with the coolest costumes, and I'm signing autographs and meeting fans and hanging out and kicking it with Kay. That's all. It's all good. Yeah.
Well, I was an original Power Rangers fan when I was younger.
Me too.
So it's I don't know, it's just nice seeing you in person. And what I wanted to ask was, what have you been doing since then?
A lot of different things. You know, I left the show after the second season, almost second and a half season, and after I left the show, I got my SAG card because Power Rangers wasn't SAG. But since then, I've just been working for I've done everything from. I had a show on Nickelodeon, Space Cases. I went on to do an Aaron spelling series called Malibu Shores. I've been on Family Matters, Moesha, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, NYPD Blue, The Shield, all kinds of stuff. Most recently, I filmed episodes guest starring on Pair of Kings, a Disney show, as well as Prime Suspect with Maria Bello. And I actually did an episode that just aired not too long ago of America's Most Wanted, which was kind of interesting. But it's a show that I felt like it was a good thing to do because they do good things in helping people, and solving the cases. So I was excited about that too.
All right. Well, do you have any recent projects that you can tell us about? Or
Yeah. Prime Suspect, like I said, I just recently did. That is a show with Maria Bello. Like I said, it's basically a crime drama show, 1 hour, and I had a great experience working on that. I kind of played a bad guy, but it wasn't too bad. I was a good bad guy, if that makes any sense. I don't know. That and. I got a film coming out called Speed Demons. It is a vampire film, and I'm a vampire slayer, that's right. Every now and then you gotta take them down, So that and just working on producing some things. I got, I have a project that I'm working on, and I've been doing a lot of looping, voiceover work. I was on Red Dead Redemption, a video game that came out, and living life and hanging out with Kay. Because Kay's cute.
Well, thanks for the compliment, as if I'm not fangirling enough. Well, I'm going to ask a question that I'm pretty sure every fan has wanted to ask at some point. Which of the original cast would you have wanted to fight all out, and why?
I would just fight all out?
Yeah.
I had to take down Jason David Frank. I would just have to. The Green Ranger, how's he gonna come in, join our cast and be all bad and then turn good and then be the White Ranger, had a mantle? I'm like, come on, man, what's up? I have an attitude about him, I'm just saying, but he's a good guy. But I would have beat his character up. I would have come on, man.
So which one of you would win?
You know what? He might have got me. He might, but just maybe. I know we had a couple of episodes where we sparred and we had a good time. It was fun. The brother's very talented, and at this point, he's really big. So I think I would save that fight for back then and not now. I think he's gonna have an advantage over me at this point, but that's all right, because I run really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All those memories. Well, thank you very much for your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the con.
Is it okay if I get like a on-camera hug? Can I do that?
Oh yes! Oh my God! Please! Oh my God! Every fan's dream come true. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Let's try to see if we can
All right, ready?
Just do it.
Go for it. It's already.
Oh my God. True watching them dance.
This is definitely going up there.
He went to Michael.
Awesome.
Oh my.